After being in the house for a winter or two, we realized it had a lot of ice dam problems. There was a particular January evening where I was up on a ladder, 10 o'clock in the dark, chipping away at something, and at that point we just decided this is crazy. We have to do something about that.
So I'm noticing there's a little bit of staining on the ceiling here, and often when I see that, that indicates that there has been some ice damming.
Typically we see little to no air sealing in an attic, and that will cause ice dams simply by heat from the inside of the home working its way up through air gaps. And once it gets into the attic, it will heat up the underside of the roof decking, and if there's snow on the roof, it will melt the snow. And as that snow goes down the roof line, it will hit the eave of the house, which is normally really cold, and will refreeze.
For us, I hopped up there and I was literally cutting blocks of insulation and foaming them in between every single stud spacing up around the attic as a way to try and control it. But ultimately, it wasn't enough. I mean, a contractor came in, was really pulling back all the existing insulation and doing every single conduit penetration, every single pipe. I mean, was probably more diligent about it than I was on my own.
You have to stop heat loss by insulation, yes. You want a nice thermal blanket over your home. But you also have to stop the air that goes through by attic bypasses and holes and so forth in a house. So you need both air sealing and insulation to have a comfortable home. We're working on the attic today. The customer had an issue of ice damming where there was a section of the home that was building up enough ice damming where it was leaking back into the home. The customer called us and we came out and did some blower door testing and infrared scanning on the home and found that the home does have a lot of leakage, and in this home in particular has ductwork in the attic which was very leaky.
Sometimes people ask me if they can do attic insulation themselves, and I usually try to discourage them from it because the most important aspect of the attic work is the air sealing piece, and it's very experience driven. Really good contractors can do air sealing right the first time, and they're also testing themselves. So if you've never done it before and you buy your can of foam at the hardware store and you see a hole and you fill it, that might not actually be blocking that air leak. Contractors that have been doing this for years still test themselves and want to make sure that when they've said they've air sealed, they've actually done it.
Most homes that we get into, we can simply just push the insulation out of the way and seal the gaps and cracks, seal the top plates, seal the wire penetration, seal the plumbing penetrations and chimneys.
This is a newer sealed light box, but as you can see, the seal isn't even sitting on the sheetrock, so it's not doing its job.
We use a couple different types of foam. One is a one-part foam, which is low expansion, and we use that to seal up small gaps and cracks and holes. We also use a two-part foam, which is a high expansion foam, and that we use for covering a lot of area and filling larger gaps. And then we are adding insulation to the attic to give the attic an R60, which is recommended by the EPA for our climate. Blow-on insulation gives you better continuous coverage, and we're not going to see large gaps in the insulation later on.
Of course, with every house, the cost is going to be somewhat variable. Typically what I see in kind of a, let's say a 1920s, 1940s urban home, you're going to see some sort of air sealing insulation bids between $1,000 and $3,000.
We noticed right away that first year, fundamentally different situation with the ice dams. Like our roof was holding snow the way it should be, it wasn't melting the way it was before.